Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kim. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by and checking out my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for joining me again week to week and supporting my channel. Again, leave me comments down below. Any engagement goes a long way in getting content out to other new people and to people in general. Alright, as this video is called, this is my Monopoly board that I have created. I'm not sure how well it comes across on screen, so this is kind of what it looks like, and then I will, when I go to do the rolls and things, I will have it more close up and for you to see a little bit better. This video is inspired by Becca and The Books. She does a Bookopoly style game to pick her books off of her TBR to read. And that's how I am pretty much going to be doing as well. If I need to and one of the choices is not on my TBR, then of course I will pull from these shelves and do a reread off of those books to fit the qualifications for it. So what this is, again, it is a Monopoly style board, inspired board. I will be doing mine a little bit different. I know with Becca, she does like punishments for if she doesn't read all of her books within the month. I'm not that stringent. To me, reading is a hobby, it's a love of mine, and I don't want to put the negative spin on it that punishments can entail. So if I don't finish it, I'll just roll the book over. If it's still something I'm interested in reading, and then I'll just roll it into the next month. Okay. Alright, so let me stop here, get it focused down so you can see it a little bit easier. And then I'll go over the board and I'll use this lovely washi tape because I don't have game pieces to do going around the board. Okay, so let me refocus everything and we'll get started. Alright you guys, so this is a little bit of a close-up of what the board is looking like, and then I'm going to rotate it around so that you can see, because some of these others get kind of blurred out. But this first section, this is my TBR, what is this called? I can't read it. Oh yeah, so this is my TBR wheel. This I believe might be the Instagram, not Instagram, but Goodreads is how this is used. So I have a wheel on my phone, so if I land on the spot, I'll go to my wheel of all the books that I was inspired to read off of the Goodreads homepage that I scroll down through. If it's something I was interested in, I read the synopsis, then I put it I want to read, and then I will choose one from there. This space and this space, these are two short stories from, I think, both of my book boxes. I've gotten about 4 or 5 different compilations of different short stories. So if I land here, I'll read two for this spot and 2 here, because again, they're short stories, they're not a full book, so I thought 2 would meet that challenge for myself. This spot right here, this is the community inspiration, I think it's what it's, so yeah, so if I land here on the community chest, so I'll read multiples of here. This could be from Instagram, it could be from, where else did I get? Any type of social media where I get inspired goes into the community. If you guys recommend me books, of course I can add them to my wheel. It's a different wheel to do that. A lot of them come from my Instagram, things that I was interested in, seeing other people discuss and talk about. So I may end up, if I have land on this multiple times, then I can choose multiple books and then I will kind of put them out this way. Pictures of them. I do plan on putting pictures, like for this one, if I meet this challenge, I'll put a picture of the book here in each of the spaces so you can kind of see what it is that I read for those. So that is the first few slots. This next one, this is anything that I'm in the mood for. If I land on that, I definitely have become more of a mood reader. I know in the past I've created these long, elaborate, different TBRs, and then I stray from it because I'm not interested later in the month to pick them up. So this is for whatever I'm in the mood to read. These slots, there's several of them around, and then there's another one up here. These are the second chance books. I have probably 20 plus books on a different shelf that I haven't unhauled yet, and they're kind of in that limbo stage. So if I get there, I may, if I land on these multiple times, I may read them. And then I have a will set up strictly for those titles that are on that second chance shelf for me to read and decide finally, do I want to keep the book or do I want to get rid of it? So again, this one may have multiple different pictures depending on how many times I land on those spots. All right, so this one is thriller. All three of these light blues are thriller books. Again, I'll be pulling those from my TBR shelf. Again, these are from my Thrill Club box that I get that I haven't gotten to yet. So I thought to put them there. The ARC reviews, so these are from the Book Siren or NetGalley, whichever one I get at the time. I have one ARC that I need to read, so if I land on it, that's when I'll read that book. If not, I'll have to read it in June regardless, because it's going to be due in June. Alright, and then here, this is YouTube recommendations, or YouTube made me want to read it, so I have a will strictly for those that I've watched other creators on BookTube, and they talked about it enough, and I've read the synopsis and decided I did want to pick it up. Then I will again spin my will to see what book I'll pick up from there. Okay, so now we're going to rotate it so that again that you can have a better, clearer, and focused view. Alright, so we just talked about this space. So these next three are horror. Again, those would come from my Thrill Club that I've... Alright, so I think I left off before my timer went off. We were talking about these three slots, these red ones. These are from my Thrill Club box that I haven't gotten to, that are on my TBR. So if I land on one of those, then I will look on my shelf, see which one I want to read to meet those requirements. Okay, here, this is ebooks. That can be, again, it could be an ARC, it could be from my Kindle Unlimited service, any type of ebook that I want to read will go there. Again, we talked about the second chance, that if I land on this multiple times, then I'll have multiple different book covers to represent that I read for that slot, because I have lots and lots of second chance books, and that will encourage me to read them. All right. All right, these next orange sections here, these are all fantasy. So these would be, I think, like my high epic fantasies, those type adult fantasy, anything in that genre would go for these three. So again, I have up to 3 that I can choose from if I land on those slots. Again, we talked about community inspiration, like Instagram and that type of thing would go here. And any other recommendations, it could be YouTube as well. And then this is strictly Instagram here. So again, this is my first time creating the board. This will evolve if I enjoy it enough to do it again the following year. These may, of course, change up and all of that. And as I get more recommendations, people recommending me other things, then again, some of these may again change up year to year. So again, this is be strictly from Instagram, no other source inspiration that I wanted to read. All right, so these next really dark orangish colors, slightly red but more orange here, here, and here. These are urban fantasy. Again, I've gotten into that genre. I have 2 different series that I can read to when I land on here on any of these to fit those requirements. Again, the ebook is for my Kindle Unlimited service that I have been really enjoying using in between me being not trying to get too many things on my physical TBR shelf. So that's been a great resource. Okay, then we've talked about the second chance again already. Okay, so these yellows, these are fantasy romance. I didn't really know that was a subgenre. Really never thought about it too much. Thought it's just fantasy, it's just fantasy. But I have started reading from Blood and Ash. I definitely see the fantasy elements, and there's definitely a romantic element to it. And when I stopped to really think about it, so did the Throne of Glass series, but I was focusing more on the fantasy versus the other, because it was, I think, especially at the beginning, it was more on the fantasy elements, and there was, again, like a little bit of a love triangle, but it wasn't the main focus. Whereas from Blood and Ash is almost evenly split, the focus of the romance as well as the fantasy elements. Again, I have another ARC review if I hit here to pull. I usually am able to get up to, I think, 3 books from Book Sirens, so that shouldn't be too hard to get a book for that if I land on that space. Okay. And then over here, this is pet picks, so I would randomly choose maybe 3 or 4 different books, put them on the floor, and see if my cat nicks, because she is pretty much the only one that would probably do it. Jester might, but he might fall on him, and I don't want to do that because he's not as stable as he used to be. So we'll try to, if I land here, get Nyx to choose my books if she's in the mood, or if I can toss some treats, she might go and land on one particular book over another. We'll see. So whatever she goes to first, that will be the book that I pick for that category. All right, so on the very last side, so we just landed here. So the next one, these are these kind of teal bluish colors, blue-green. So these 3 are my paranormal romance. I love paranormal romance. If you've been on my channel, you know that. So if I land there, I think I still have the next book in the Guild Hunter series that I can pick up, or any others that I can look on my TBR shelf, because I don't know if I have any on that, but I can pick up a book off of from my other bookshelves to fit those if I need to. Again, we talked about the community inspiration, so we don't need to recover that again, but it's there. We talked about the second chance books, more mood reads if I'm into that, if I land on them, what else am I interested in? And then 2 classic space books, because I do still have some classics that I've not read yet. So if I land on that, that would be what I would read. Okay, so that is kind of my overview of my board. And now we will back out a little bit more so we can get to our rollings. All right, and what I will do, we're going to attempt this technique. Again, I have my washi tape to go around the board. So here are my dice. Our first roll. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So a thriller. We'll set it right there. All right, so that was 9 spaces, middle thriller. And then at the end, I will come back and share with you what books I got. So that's 12, right? 6 and 6 is 12. So we're going to come down a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this would be my Instagram spot. All right, so I think I'll do a total of 5 books, and then we'll go from there. And we'll see. So 8. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. So this is an ARC read. So 3 spaces. 1, 2. So that's a paranormal. And then 1 final roll for our 5th roll. Trying to get it not to be so blurry. And that would be 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it is a classic. That ought to be fun. So again, I made notes of what they are down here, so I know where at on the board these are, and I'll know where to start my roll again for our next round. Again, I'm going to keep going around. Hopefully by the end of the year I will have most of the spaces filled in. Probably not get them all done because this is in well, this will be May's when May's TBR. So I have maybe half the year to see how many books I can get read within this time as well. All right, so let me go gather the books, and then I'll be back with you, and I'll share with you what I chose to meet these categories. Alrighty, so I'll start with the, oh yeah, and then one book I didn't get. Well, we'll get to that in just a moment. So let us go with the ones that I have, and I forgot to get my 5th book, but I will look up here in just a moment, and we will get to that. So the first one that I picked up was Thriller. For that one, I want to do The Hiding Place by C.J. Tudor. Again, this came out, I believe, in either my Thrill Club, or it was a book in my bookcase club when they were doing some weird things. Instead of giving me fantasy books, they were doing paranormal type things. But I think might be more on my Thrill Club. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've unboxed this in the last few months. So this will go for my thriller. A lot of creepy things, it sounds like, goes on. So yeah, it says a deliciously creepy story. Alright, so that will go for my thriller book. For my Instagram, I didn't have my will made up. Don't know why. I really thought I had. But the one that I chose for the Instagram, this is Ash Princess. It's the start of a trilogy. I have been wanting to read it. I think I might have it on Audible, so I may listen to it that way. We shall see. Again, all of these picks are for May, so I have a little bit of time, wiggle room to do that. So this is what this one looks like. But this is, again, by, excuse me, Laura Sebastian. So I don't know, I don't remember a ton about it, but I do know I saw it on Instagram. I saved the picture and then read the synopsis. It seemed like something that I wanted to read, so I can't wait to pick that one up. Again, I wanted to start at the beginning of the trilogy since I don't know anything about it. And then for my ARC that I need to read, if I can find it. So this is from my book Sirens. This is the 3rd book of this series I have been reading. This is Facets of Power. It is the Dragon Portal series by Jamie A. Waters. I have absolutely been loving this story. I can't wait to get into this 3rd one, but I did want to kind of wait. It's not due until June, but since I landed on the ARC, it gives me a reason to read it. I would definitely say it probably leans more of the fantasy romance, because there is a romance involved, but it's almost a fatalistic romance going on. So I can't wait to see how the author resolves that. She is a fae, he is of the dragon people. Their people are in conflict with one another. So it shall be very interesting to see. She is of the dark fae. She's the Unsully, the heir to the Unsully throne. So there's a lot of drama on her family side, them trying to knock her off. It's been a very interesting read. I cannot, like I said, wait to dive back into this series because I love this world. I love everything the author has done with it. So cannot wait to get to that book. All right. So again, this is the last look at this one. Again, if it's not coming across well on screen, again, I'll put it up on the screen for you and all of that good stuff. All right. So the very last book, well, not the very last, the last one that I actually pulled, and then I've got to decide on my other book. My classic book, I'm actually going to be double dipping on this one. This is The Count of Monte Cristo. This will be starting in May in a book club that I have joined. So I'll be reading these in conjunction so it's not in conflict, because it is a very large book, but it is a classic book and I've wanted to read it for a while. So killing 2 birds in 1 stone, as the saying goes. So there is that chunker of the book, and again, this is not going to be one that I'm going to finish in a month. We have up to a month and a half or so, I think, is what is scheduled for that particular book. So it's not going to be penalized. I know it's going to roll over because of the thickness of the book, and it's classic, so we will see how that one goes. All right, in my paranormal, what do I want to read for that? No. Alright, so I am starting with Christine Fien's Shadow Game. This is the Ghost Walker series. It's the first book. This follows Lily and Lily Whitney and Captain Ryland Miller. It kind of sets up the entire series. So it's been a very, very long time since I have read this. So it is paranormal. There is a heavy romance element to this. So I think this fits the criteria. And like I said, I haven't read it in years. So I can't wait to dive back into the beginning of this series and get my overall thoughts on it again. Anyways, I hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. And until my next video, I hope you have a good one. Bye guys.